Record. Right, well, good evening. We've got music coming out everywhere. With the normal kerfuffle, we have managed to get the three of us together. It's taken us a while. Nick's had a trip out to Whitby, and you say you're on, is it this pint number 9 you're on now, Nicholas?
Xing Chow.
Been shout
That's
number 9.
that's cream for hello. Yeah, no, number 7. No, number 7.
Number 7.
I've had 2 Helmsley Brewery. I've had a Rudgate Ruby Mild. I've had a what else had I been? An Elgoods, spring, whatever it was, and 2 pints of Masters Pedregue, unfortunately. But Xin Chao is hello in Vietnamese, I think.
So,
hopefully,
we're on episode 79, and we'll maybe come back to our global audience. I'm on a cup of tea. Bruce, no doubt, will be on something similarly soft. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
But Nicholas is on his day off, so he's enjoyed himself. So yes, welcome to episode 79. After a bit of kerfuffling, we are together, but we're going to do this in one take because we're due to pull our Zoom slots for this evening. So the plan tonight is to do a little bit of a catch up. It's been a while since we were last together, and we're going to talk a little bit about supping around Scarbados. It feels a long time ago now, but at Easter. I managed to get to drink with Nicholas and Bruce, although not at the same time, I don't think. We missed out on that, didn't we? But we managed to have a join up in Scarbados with Bruce. Sticking.
Was it very pleasant day? Yes.
Yeah, sticking very to pleasant. I think we do. Well, you did a couple of new. Oh no, we did a new pub. Obviously, we're still on our trying somewhere new. I know half the press today. A really damning headline: 2 pubs currently a day are closing. Were there last year, and already, what are we in? Into the 5th month, we've already got 2 pubs. So we're doing our bit by going to visit pubs we haven't been before, pubs that are new, or in this case, in Scarborough, a couple of pubs that have reopened, which is very good. Right, let's just try and catch up then with a little bit of, let's get rid of that bit of beer news. I don't know if you picked up this one. I'm a bit disappointed with this one. Mango Jaipur. They seem to be kind of pushing it, don't they, Jaipur? They've tried the double strength ones, and I just worry that when you start doing this, and this is a special for Morrison's they've done now. Mango Jaipur 5.9%. After our success of our pink grapefruit Jaipur, we're doing it now with extra flavour twist. But I do worry when it's a cracking beer, Jaipur. Don't mess with it. Just keep it.
Well, they were brought up with in the land of Brewdog, weren't they?
Yeah, true. Yeah, well,
one of their owners, one of their brewers, came from Brewdog originally.
Yeah. And then maybe some good news is that Tesco's are also going to start selling FS Pilsner, and we've mentioned FS a few times because obviously that's the beer of Turkey, isn't FS? And I think we found FS Dark, didn't we? Which was very nice.
Is it still independently brewed, or is it just brewed by?
No, I think this is
still Tadcaster.
I think this is still brewed in whatever Turkey and brought.
No, I don't think it is, sadly, because I was aware about this. I think they are brewing this country now. In fact, that Welshman who reviews the beer on YouTube, who was really he's quite knowledgeable in terms of beers. He reviewed, I believe, the British brewed FS against the Turkish one. I've not seen it yet, but I can imagine what the result will be. He does offer those comparisons now, because bizarrely, even Aldi were getting a fake Madri, but brewed in Spain, and now Aldi's fake Madri is now being brewed in this country as well. So it's quite depressing.
Yes, you are right. FS Turkish Lager shift production to the UK in early 2025, and it's also available in B&M as well, other well-known beer. It doesn't actually say. Sunrise Beverages are managing the brand in the UK. Sunrise, I think they do quite a lot of kind of cuckoo brewing. They kind of do quite a bit of brewing. And of course, I'm just thinking, we're saying this, and there's 2 bloody supermarkets which are undercutting the cost of ale. Probably expensive our pub. Anyway, let's move on quickly. Some other good news, Bruce. You mentioned this, and then I did notice that the Sam Smith's whatever Facebook things I'm in piled in as well. Lots of blue signs going up on empty Sam Smith's pubs, encouraging people, including, which again you can't believe it. Well, you can believe it because we talked about King's Arms, haven't we, in York? But the Boar's Head, which is in the middle of Stockport, which we went to on our little Stockport trip. All right, wasn't it? And it was packed when we were in there. I don't think we could sit down, but that's been shut for a while. A number of the ones, the new in Stamford Bridge, is shut. So yeah, there may be a slight change in kind of thinking. Obviously, there's a lot of real estate there, isn't there? And I think, as we said, the longer you leave these places. But then what did come up, and you saw this, Bruce, but the same time as well, the Viking Hotel, east side Middlesbrough, and it says, if you're not on YouTube, take a gum shield and a spare pair of underpants. And this just one of those classic estate pubs. So we haven't done Middlesbrough, have we?
No, there's very little to see in Middlesbrough.
There's not much. There's a transporter bridge we can go and see.
I was born in bloody Middlesbrough, mate. Don't be cheeky.
All the pubs have closed down. In fact, the rail ale, the great rail pubs man from around here, he went there a few weeks ago, and he was just going around the centre, and I know a few other pubs, and it really, the centre of Middlesbrough, I think, is in a terrible, terrible state, and the pubs are just vanishing, really.
So did I see, Bruce? I think is it Bishopthorpe? Is that their pub reopening? I didn't see.
That reopens, I believe, on Monday.
Right. Okay. And we're going to.
I've got I'll show you my lovely picture of Massimo Hotel in Middlesbrough now. That's now open like a little art gallery type place. It's a well-known pub in the centre of the Middlesbrough with the ceramic tiles on the outside and the green tiles. I say that shows a bit of a community art space. I think
closest we got was Stockton on Tees. We had a mixed visit there, didn't we, Bruce?
Oh yeah, but some of the little micro pubs were great.
No, they were very good. Right, let's crack on. What else have I got on here? Oh yeah, just again a pub that we featured previously, where I think certainly last time I was in there, I was very disappointed. So this is the Station Inn on Ribble Head. So if you know the famous viaduct that goes over the Ribble Valley up in Yorkshire, we actually stayed, didn't we, Nick, for one Christmas up at the foot of that. And up on the hill, just by the station there, is the Station Inn. And I say it's a bit of a legend pub. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Well, apparently it's been bought out by the people that own Town and the Green Dragon as well, which is the one that has the waterfall, isn't it? But you have to pay for Hawes, or you have to pay to go and look at the waterfall. So hopefully, because the last time it was all right. I wouldn't say it wasn't anything too bad. The beer was all right, but it just felt a bit unloved, really. Whacking out fairly, frozen meals. So anyway, hopefully, because it's in a stunning place.
Ran out of beer, didn't they?
Ran out of beer. It's in a stunning place. There's a little park up if you camper vans around the side there, and you're about probably a 10-minute walk from the actual viaduct itself. So
arguably the finest view from any island of the country to go for a pee, and it's facing the island. You've got to study the other viaduct, haven't you?
Yeah, and I'm looking there. There's a window right at that back corner of the pub there, and there's a little seat by the bar, and that's the best. That is the best seat because you look, like you say, you look all over that valley.
And speaking of stunning views, of course, Wetherspoons can now claim to have probably the finest beachside pub in the country now, where they've taken over the pub, the Bluff Inn at Haley in Cornwall, haven't they?
Yeah, well, that's part of their next thing, whole season, the deal. I did see that they were only charging £3.50 a pint.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of the locals are quite cross about it because apparently pint of Stella's £6.50. You have to pay to park your car, and when actually it was an existing pub on a holiday campsite. But I mean, it's quite interesting, really, because obviously, Nick, what's your opinion? What's your opinion of Burger King, Nick?
Burger King?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what's my opinion of Burger King? You mean Tim Martin has saved another traditional pub or traditional building from going to the toilet because nobody else would back it? Oh, we've lost him like that. That's such a bombshell. He's gone.
Right.
Boom.
In your YouTube, what we are sharing is the reason why I gathered them because
I don't know where he's coming from. Then he said, "Oh yeah, Wetherspoons have bought this traditional pub that obviously nobody else can make a go of." Then all of a sudden he asked me what to do with Burger King.
Well, what's your opinion of Burger King? It's relevant. What's your opinion of Burger King?
I never go to fast food eating places, bros. But if Burger King are able to keep a very historic building up and going for other reasons than just selling fast food takeaways, then in theory, if I was down that part of the country, I would possibly support them.
Right, come on, Bruce. You need to explain how he keeps disappearing. The Burger King theory, or whatever it is.
I mean, Burger King were owned by who? Whitbread, one of the biggest brewers in the country at one point, I believe.
Only brewing now. Right, the podcast results are in for the month, and we had a massive increase last month, 122% up. Talking about Rochdale. Who knew?
Sorry, I keep getting disconnected from this.
Well, it's probably a good thing. Who knew Rochdale was so interesting to people in Vietnam? So our Vietnam.
Hence my greeting. Jing Chao, whatever said.
47% of our viewers last month when we featured Rochdale were from Vietnam, 18% from the United States, and a mere 4% from United Kingdom. We have our 6 very, very loyal members in Bangladesh, 5 in Iraq, interestingly. We're not being whatever. Argentina, Brazil, Mexico. So it's amazing how 3 blokes babbling on about beer goes around the world. Right.
Do you think these stats are right, or someone's just making them up?
Well, they come from a Canadian company.
Yeah, instead of going on YouTube, bro, and watching that bloke, Real Beer, Real Ales, I don't know what he's talking about, go a bit further out. And Vietnam is the place where a lot of Brits are going now. And it's got
Gary Glitter.
No. It's got a developing craft ale culture. You know, there's more and more craft breweries opening up over there. So, and it's the place to go for Brits on holiday. So I think once they get there, other than cheap knockoff shopping, there's not much else to do.
Right, new pubs. So new pub for me, Helmsley Brewery Tap. So Nick's been mentioning Helmsley Brew, and he sampled some of their beers today. And he's been to the well, it's a bit weird. What do they call it? They call it the Helmsley Brewery Tap in Whitby, don't they? Even though
converted Methodist chapel, yeah.
Which I think all 3 of us have been to now. I quite liked it. Bruce was not. I think you sat on the fence a bit, Bruce, didn't you?
Oh, I quite like the Helmsley Brewery Tap. I do like Helmsley beer. Yeah.
One in Whitby. One about the one in Whitby. So this is the one actually in Helmsley. And to be honest, you could walk past this, and although it has got brewery all over it, a lot of people were simply walking past it because it doesn't look like it's open, unlike Brass Castle where you can't really miss it. And one or two people did walk past it and kind of peered in and didn't see much. And in fact, most people I think this was maybe Easter weekend, was outside the Feathers, a bit further up in the square where kind of all the bikers were. Interesting little place. I think Nick, you've been to this place, haven't you? A little bit quirky inside. There's a little bar you go in. There's then a couple of kind of brewing vessels to the left. Actually, I ended up sitting in quite a nice courtyard out the back. I couldn't tell actually how much beer how much beer is actually brewed here, because there didn't seem to be a lot of brewing going on. There were lots of kind of empty conditioners kind of in the yard. But anyway, definitely worth a visit.
Well, the owner today has told me that he can't keep up with demand.
Yeah,
as much beer he can brew, he is selling it, and his market used to be as far as Leeds, delivering to Leeds, and he said he's actually reduced that now in terms of where he's delivering to, because he's got enough local customers to be able to keep up with the demand.
Maybe that's the light of brew. I will say it was packed, and people were drinking his ales. And it was a real mix. There were some beardy blokes in there, ticking on. There were families in there.
Including the Spotty Cow. He reckons he's getting through 2 barrels of his beer in the Spotty Cow every week. So I said, well, I will go and give the Spotty Cow in Malton another chance, because I've been there a couple of times and I wasn't impressed at all. But if he's getting through 2 barrels of cask, it means that people there, in theory, know decent beer. He admitted it's still a racing pub. But compared to the last time I went in there, when Swetliner was the barmaid behind the counter and they didn't have a till because it was cash only, I'll probably next time I'm in Malton, I'll give the Spotty Cow another go.
Now, Nick's been to Whitby today, and Bruce went to Whitby a couple of weeks ago, and for the first time ever, he went in the one Sam Smith's pub, which is remaining open, which is the Plough. And the Plough is tucked away a little bit. It's kind of down what is the main shopping street in Whitby. But again, it's another place you can walk past and not really notice it. It's the usual understated Sam Smith's. But I can't believe, Bruce, you've been in here with me. I'm sure you have.
No, we haven't. I've never been that pub in my life.
In here.
Yeah.
I spent most of my A-level geography in here. We did Whitby. I spent most of my Wednesday afternoons in the Plough when I was kind of 18.
Needs a bit of TLC inside, but quite an interesting pub. Big multi-room pub, isn't it?
Yeah, out the back.
Beer garden.
Bit of a sun trap.
Yeah.
Tarmac and concrete, but plenty of outdoor space.
Yeah, and I think this has been shut for a while. I think I've tried a couple of times and it was shut, but anyway, really open. So yes, the Plough, and then the other Sam Smith, the Jolly Sailors, Bruce, you say is well and truly closed, did you?
It is, yeah.
Which again is a shame, right on the harbour, isn't it? So
it is, absolutely.
That's where all the action was, and the music, and the
yeah.
Jollymans and the pirates and the skeletons drinking rum and stuff
we'll
like
stick
that.
with Whitby because another bar we talked about, but I think, Bruce, you have been. I am still yet to go, but Nicholas, you took the chance a couple of weeks ago and you went to the Badger Bar, which is part of is it the Grand Hotel or one of those?
Grand Hotel. It's a Shearing's Hotel. It's still a Shearing's Hotel. I used to call it the Death Hotel because you used to walk past and you just used to see old folks sat there like this. And obviously, evening service was 5 till 6:30, where they got their soup and their main course and their dessert. But yeah, the Fat Badger taken on and complete transformation inside. It's a bit like an innkeeper's. So they turned it back to dark wood, plenty of plush seating, banquet seating, and you can see the little image you on YouTube in the top left-hand corner there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 hand pulls on there. All array of classic Yorkshire beers. And I'm always a bit dubious when a pub has got that many hand pulls on in terms of turning it over. But what I had was in good condition and it was fine.
Yeah, they seem to go quite well, don't they? They seem to get quite good people on the little tour now. Whitby. It's a bit tucked away, so I guess it's not quite on the main drag, is it? I guess you have to know kind of where it is. It's not out.
No, because you're only going up that part Whitby for the whalebones and Captain Cook's statue. Yeah. There's no other bars up there as such. But there again, a lot of people do park up there and head down. And I say they've got a semi-captured audience within the hotel.
Little veranda.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing in that. Why the Victorians always did this? They put their verandas on the side of the buildings where the sun didn't hit you. But as my mother pointed out today, yes, the Victorian ladies used to sit under parasols. They didn't like sun. So yeah, you can sit outside, very nice, but you don't get the sun, but you get a nice view, as you can see from the middle image.
Until the bus is turned up.
Bottom right hand side, the Shearings did pull up, not quite as old and fossilated as I knew from the Shearings people, but yeah, it's a nice transformation in there. So if you're up that part of town, bob in and have a Yorkshire beer.
Another Whitby. And he also called in the Black Horse, which again is a nice little regular. This is in the old town, and this is not a new pub.
Oh yeah,
it's quite famous for the Yorkshire tapas or yapas. And he did mention, and we remember quite well, don't we? Tex walking in the front bar, which is a classic little front bar. And is that the plaque there? That I tried to look for the plaque on YouTube on the internet, but because you said that there's a little plaque now where Tex was a very extrovert local, dressed up in all the Western cowboy, huge Stetson. And when he came in, everybody would go quiet, he'd get his beer, and he'd have his seat. So you said there's a new sign, didn't you, Nick, on that last seat there?
I don't know if it was me or somebody else. I didn't go there.
You said it's something like this. Something like this is not Tex's seat, and you can sit down or something because obviously he's died. But I'll find out what you said. While I'm doing that, Bruce, you've got a couple of new ones. So you found the Scottish stores on one of your
I see it every day, and we're unable to go in. So we're down there last week. So we made a point of going back early, so we could actually go in, because I'm not allowed, of course, at work to go in. And what a cracking pub it was! I've said it's highlighted by the Great British Pub Crawl man, who's just been appointed to the committee at Canberra. But yeah, what a cracking pub inside it is. Very strange. It's a tiny multi-roomed. Well, no, it's a medium-sized pub. It's full of very small rooms.
So where is it, Bruce? London, Edinburgh, Durham,
London, yeah.
Newcastle, London.
Yeah, London. Just
right,
past the about at King's Cross, turn left, go past McDonald's, and the road on the left there is the Cali Road, Holloway Road, of those. Not York Way, the next one along. Yeah, but fantastic. Dark wood. And it is very feels, I imagine, without overbetters. There's a few salt tires hanging about, but otherwise, there's no tartan carpets, no bagpipes, no haggis, anything like that. Famously, they're one of the only places in London where you can get a pint of Tennant's, though. That was a night, £7 a pint. But it was a Tuesday tea time, this. Absolutely packed. But yeah, for a proper locals pub with a great vibe, really is an absolute gem, the Scottish Stars. But it's still significantly cheaper, has to be said, than the Fuller's pub in the station, and a much nicer crowd of people in there. So I can heartily recommend the Scottish Stars if you're waiting for a bit of time to kill before you go back to King's Cross.
They're just not so much a pub, but a beer that again we've talked quite a bit about on the podcast. I got my first new or the revived Sneck lifter Saturday in my down in my little Boat and Horses local. I went in there. I wasn't quite sure about the new branding. So it looks a bit kind of, they've got the traditional Jennings background, but then they've got, I don't know really, it's a bit modern, I don't know. But I would say it was very, very good. So again, we mentioned that a couple of local folk, they're not brewers, I don't think they were brewers. I think they worked in the drinks industry, had managed to get the money together to buy the brewery back in Cockermouth, and they got hold of the old recipes, and they were and have reopened Jennings. And I've said that a rich Ovaltine, smooth and malty, got its legacy depth back with a hint of licorice. So unlike say the new Boddingtons, which tastes like piss, this actually tastes a little bit like I remember Snecklifter, a little bit dark, a little bit licoricey, but lovely and smooth and really malty. So definitely worth. It must be on its kind of way around the country. So definitely worth looking out for a pint of Snecklifter. I can't remember, it was about £4.50 in the Boat and Horses, but it was always good. Well. Yeah, it was.
And speaking of new beers, last night I got to try the new version of Callum Island Pale Rider, Easy Rider. It was at the Market Cat, the Thornbridge pub in town, and it was absolutely superb. The Market is a modern British blonde beer, and it's surprising, it had a very weak nose, but it was an absolutely superb pint of beer. Really well balanced, little citrusy overtones. It was very, very quaffable. Again, to be fair though, any beer you get in the Market Cat is superbly well kept.
Easy Rider's been around for a while, bros. It's not new.
Yeah, Arabidale doing it. Or Thornbridge.
Adam?
Who's doing it? Is it Thornbridge? Or
Callum Island are doing it, yeah.
Callum Island, yeah, it's been around for a while.
But they're not owned, are they? Because Callum Island went bust, so I think it's either Thornbridge or Abbeydale. I think it's one of those two now that are doing
it. Yeah, we have to look for the Callum Island beers in Thornbridge. So I think you're right. I think they may be brewing them. They're pumping money in or brewing them under their recipes now because they pop up quite a bit in the Thornbridge pubs. But that was absolutely delicious. That was the first time I come across it. It was absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I would say probably apart from that Lancashire, in terms of like quaffable beers, apart from that Lancashire bitter which we had in Rochester, which that was superb.
Yeah, that was nice.
I've had this year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the main bit of the podcast. So as I mentioned, we managed to get a trip together to Scarbados. We used the rather expensive Trans-Pennine Express, but actually on the day it was running very well. It was pretty packed though, wasn't it, Bruce? I think when you got to York and we got to Malton, and we kind of had a bit of family outing. And I think what we were trying to do is you mentioned that there were a couple of pubs that are reopened, in particular the Alma, which had been quite a while, and again used to be one of the legendary Scarborough pubs. And again, another Sam Smith's pub down the harbour, the Golden Ball, which again we've talked about a few times on previous podcasts. So we duly got to Scarborough, and we decided that what we'd do is turn out the station. It was a fairly kind of overcast, kind of coolish day, so we headed left and we went up to the Stumble Inn, which is always a little bit further than you think. It's a bit of a long walk. I always think it's you get to the end of the station, get to the end of that longest bench in the world, and then it's Stumble Inn. But it's a bit further. But it's definitely worth getting there. Nick, me and you have been here a few times. I've got to say, whenever I go, you never, it's always a warm welcome. There's always nice gentle chat in there. It's not very big, is it? I guess that's the only challenge. I bet on a Saturday, on a whatever, but it gets pretty full. Always some good beers in. There is quite a nice seating area, and again, you get another Victorian terrace. Although again, I've never actually sat there. Apparently, this was a solicitor's in its previous life, and the current folk who own it, 2014, they took it on. It says it got 6 hand pumps. I think there were about 3 on when we were on there.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I think they do those 3 brothers from Middlesbrough. There's Middlesbrough twice today. Which I think I went for in the end, and I think they had an Ossic blonde as well. But again, really interesting pints. They also real cider. Came up. Finley had a bloody. You can see it on YouTube, like a lemonade cider. Which yeah, me and Bruce worked. But you can see those stunning beers. I think that's mine, the front, and Bruce's at the rear there. So stumble in, cracking little bar. Scarbados first micro bar, I think they claim, but definitely worth a walk. 10-minute walk.
And after 8 minutes.
After 8 minutes.
On the bar.
Oh yes, yeah, you can have after 8 minutes. But that's
love them.
Good. So
yeah, I never saw them. They must be there for Easter. Yeah,
we've all been there before, so that wasn't a new one. But then I think Bruce, this was a new one for you, and it's one that
this is fantastic.
This place. And
I went in there, and I'll yes. Anyway, go on. So you give your review, and I'll give my review.
This is very, very close to the station. It's probably the best pub now. There's no pub on the station anymore. If you are waiting for a train, it's called the Craft Bar. It's right across the doors from the Stephen Joseph Theatre. So if you know Scarborough, you'll know where that is at the top end of New Biggar, know where the shopping centre is. Again, it's a typical kind of ex-shop, coffee shop kind of rebrand.
It's made a nice job. They made a nice job of doing up that. It felt homely, didn't it?
It's always very warm, I feel. It's always very warm and smells a bit of dog. It's like that kind of place.
Didn't this used to be the original record revivals, the record shop? What was it called?
Could have been. It could have been. And again,
that's now moved over the road.
Yeah, they do a relay. Obviously, they specialise in relay. They have about 4 or 5 hand pumps on, and then they also have a keg line as well. It was pretty steady on a whatever it was. We were there. Again, there was the owner's dog, which was keeping everybody occupied. They were doing Tato crisp, Bruce, weren't they, as well?
They were. That was a great find.
And a fair variety of. But apparently now we've got 8 Keo crisp, haven't we? Because Tato's are owned by a Portuguese company, or a German company or something. So apparently Keos are the only really Irish crisp. Anyway, so let's cover, Nicholas. What's your view of the Craft Bar?
So you remember, Mike, I was in Scarborough and I texted you, do I go the Elmer or do I go the Craft Bar? I used the Elmer. And as I walked down that little back lane, all I could see was like people loitering around with bottles in their hands. And I thought, this doesn't look very welcoming. And as I got there, in fact, the Elmer was closed and it was all the local pissheads and drunkards that were using the picnic benches outside the Elmer to occupy themselves and sit down. So went round to Craft Bar. Yeah, my first impressions were walked in and there was a big slobbering dog laying there in the doorway and it did stink of dog or BO. Walked up to the bar. The bar isn't that big. There was 2 guys sat the opposite ends of the bar having a conversation. So I literally had to stand between them to try and get service at the bar. I was like in the middle of their conversation. Next thing I heard this, excuse me, turn around. This little old woman was trying to get to a seat on the table and the chairs that were next to me. However, rather than going round by where there's plenty of room where the chair was, she deliberately wanted to move me out the way to get to the chair where she was. To which I turned around and said, oh, I'm sorry, I thought this is where I stood to get served at the bar, but I will move out your way then. Then 2 schoolgirls came in and sat at the end of the bar, which I thought, this is strange because they were both complete in school uniform. I was spying out where the toilets were. The toilets are like up 4 steps. Managed to get myself up there. And then that toilet cubicle is one of these unisex cubicles that there's one toilet for the whole of the clientele, males, females, and disabled people. Brilliantly decked out for disabled people, as in pull down bars and emergency cords, but they've got to go up 4 stairs to get there. And as I was waiting to go at the toilet, the door opened, the 2 schoolgirls came back out the toilet. So it was a bit of a surreal experience, to be honest with you. It was like 4:30, 5 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. And I'm thinking, this isn't normal for a pub. There we are. That's my experience.
So,
I was there last week and it was packed again.
Yeah, we quite like it. And it's certainly handy for the station. I've been in a couple of times when I've been waiting for a train at the station. Scarborough Station, it looks very nice, but it's a bit draught inside in it.
It is, yeah.
Great place to sit around. And anyway, so The other bit was to go around the corner, and it doesn't get much better, really, because I know Nick mentioned, I don't know why you'd want to stand outside the Alma, because there were bits falling off it. We were there. So it looks open. So the Alma is tucked away. If you know where Weatherspoons is in Scarborough, it's kind of down the lane to the just as you get to Weatherspoons. It's tucked away a little bit. I say it used to be one of kind of Scarborough's kind of traditional pubs. I think I read it was a Cameron's house, and but it was certainly was a Tetley house. And in fact, they still got the Tetley sign up on the thing there. So as you go in, you are stepping back. Yes, certainly a century or so. So it's pretty rough and ready. There's a nice little front bar, which is where we managed to get settled. There was only one other bloke in there. The landlord was all right. He was a bit kind of, when we first got in there, he was kind of eyeing us up and down a bit. After a bit, we started chatting. We got chatting to the bloke at the bar, and we were talking about Scarborough and pubs and stuff. So he kind of warmed up a little bit. There's a very weird back bar that was in complete darkness, but had a little telly in the corner with the football. He goes, "You can go in there and watch the football if you want." We all know we'll sit here. I can't remember what we drank in there. The beer was all right, actually.
It was, yeah.
It's certainly it's an interesting pub.
These are the same people that run the Frigate, though, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. It's a sister pub to the Frigate. Yeah, so the beer was good. It was very quiet though. I don't know how it's going to survive. I guess if people like us will go and relive their youth in there again. But it's still.
Both the Craft and the Alma are literally within the shadows of Weatherspoons. So fair game for us, setting where they are really.
So we then set off down the hill, and for some reason we got split up here. So I ended up putting myself in the. Actually, we popped into the. I think we did pop into the market hall, but for whatever reason I don't know whether they've stopped serving beer in there or it's going to be weird. So I think we mentioned before that it's a wonderful market hall in Scarborough, and for a while there was a little cafe was selling wall top beers, but couldn't see them this time. It was only bottles. So I ended up going to the Merchant, which is just about halfway down. I think is it called Sandgate we're on now.
Sandside,
which is Scarborough's Irish pub. Again, it's been there for quite a while now. I was looking, I read it up. It said 2004. But less about the shamrock, more about the community. And we've mentioned this before because we've been in and we had flaming leprechauns as well as a pint of Guinness. I've got to say the Guinness was very, very good. The trip to the toilets is interesting because you step out from the 20th century into kind of the 13th century, and there's bits of the wall kind of, and you can see it's a bit grim. But anyway, good on them. Of course, across the road here, you've also got what's the name of the pub across the road? The Golden Last.
Golden Last.
Golden Last. Yes. Which again, if you know your Irish history or maybe your Glasgow history, so this is the Irish Shamrock pub on one side of the road, and across the other side is Golden Last. If you go in the Golden Last, all you'll see is Rangers shirts, Rangers flags, and flags of St. George. At the front of the bar, there is a full mural.
The red hand of Ulster.
The red hand of Ulster, and a full mural of an Orange Order march. It. And I looked at the week. It said this week it's Sash, Bash, and Karaoke. We see what the ad on over.
Sash, Bash, and Gash.
And TripAdvisor, Hellhole. That's the latest. That's the latest hellhole, full of racists. Don't go in here, and it literally is. Anyway, if that's so,
that must have been from a Catholic then.
Yeah, it's the two sides of we'll call it Glasgow,
just the same as Belfast.
So we then did end up in the Frigate, and we like the Frigate, don't we, Bruce? I can't remember. I got the feeling the fire wasn't in when we were in there today. So it's done with a bit cold, can't it? Because it's on that kind of windy corner. But it's all right. Again, they don't go mad. They only have a couple of beers on, which I think is sensible, really. So that would, as always, definitely worth a trip. It's a fairly newish place. I think it used to be a restaurant, didn't it? For many years, it was a
Clayton's Ship Restaurant.
Ship restaurant. But they've done quite a good job on it. And of course, the other beauty is you go around the corner up the cobbles, and you end up at the Leeds Arms. And again, got to say, we missed one out. We then went to the Golden Ball. That was the whole point going down there. So again, if you know Scarborough, you'll probably know the Golden Ball on the front there. Unfortunately, obviously, we couldn't do any photographs inside because it's a Sam Smith's pub, and we don't want it shutting down because it's just bloody open. The front, the front bar is always a bit cliquey, and people tend to, bit like you mentioned the other week in York, they tend to sit in those window seats, don't they? And they spread out, and they don't really want anybody else sitting them. So we ended up going the little bit at the back, which is okay, isn't it? The back rooms are right.
Just like in the harbour view, because there's a splendid view from the front room of the Golden Ball, isn't it?
And you've got to get there. I can't remember what we drank in here, because I don't know whether they might have had Old Brewery bitter on, but I think we ended up
Old Brewery, Sovereign.
Yeah, they did have Sovereign.
Morals.
Definitely worth a trip. Obviously it's cheap for Scarborough, so definitely worth going in there. And then I say we went back up the cobbles, and we ended up at I think it's probably Scarborough's best pub in it at the moment. The Leeds.
Yeah, definitely.
It was pretty well. It was ram, wasn't it? We got in there, but again, this is the opposite. And we got in there, and the lovely. There was 4 of them said, "Come and sit down." There's a bloke with his dog, wasn't he? Come and sit down. Come and sit on this big table. You can all squeeze in, and that's kind of pub it is, isn't it? Love sitting in those 2 front windows. Always have a good range of beer on. They always tend to have a Osset. They always have Timmy Taylors on. They have obviously Bruce's ABK Hells in there as well, which I did check. They still got that on as well. So yeah, all in all, a cracking pub. And yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what we had, Bruce. Felt like we'd had a few by the end of the day.
Oh yeah, I was quite happy on the way back. I think we missed a train. I ended 5 days. We had to go to Mother Hubbard's. All descended into like sort of drunken disorderly chaos, didn't it?
Yeah. So it was all. So Scarborough's definitely back on the after a bit of a dull drum, certainly compared to Whitby. Definitely a trip out to Scarborough. Scarborough, yeah, it's one of them, isn't it, really? I don't know. I know they've titivated bits of it. It just feels a little bit like it's on its kind of downers a little bit. I don't know what the numbers are like holiday wise, or what it's been like over the bank holiday. I mean, Whitby looked absolutely rammed again, although Nick said it was a bit quiet today. But yeah, Scarborough, another East Coast gem, definitely worth going and having a few beers on Scarborough. Stumble Inn and the Leeds Arms would be my 2 choice, I think. And we've got Scholars Bar's open again, isn't it? I think is the
Scholars Bar's thriving.
Yeah,
and the North Riding Hotel, of course, is a fantastic ale pub. But it's actually the side Marine Drive where Scholars is packed.
Yeah.
It's one of those pubs that somehow manages to be at a real and sports pub, and but if you're not a sports fan, you wouldn't feel alienated. Yeah.
Okay, right. We're running out of time, so just to say that we will probably be a month or so before we get back together. These pair are off to the Lake District, although not quite at the same time. So they can report back, hopefully, on some lakes drinking again. I'm off back to Ireland, down the west coast of Ireland again. So I'll come back. There's a couple of pubs that I've just written down tonight, actually, that I'm going to try and find out. We're in Port Merion this weekend, so I'll hopefully pop in the Australian in Port Maddock and try some of my moose beers. We're playing the band for the weekend. So, and we've also got some northern tickets that we need to do as well. So hopefully we'll see you all soon. So cheers, gents. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Empty.